Hello there everyone. One of the big discussions in the UK coastal world, albeit not right now, but maybe when it starts to get removed, is what's going to replace Rumba Rapids. Of course, it closed at the start of this year, at the end of last year. It was confirmed to be closing at the start of this year, and so, in a discussion I promised 6 videos ago, roll the clip! That's a discussion for another video, I'll remember to do that at some point. What's gonna go there? I'll be going through 3 ideas for what I think could replace Rumba Rapids at Thorpe Park. And so, let's jump into Planet Coaster, because I'm not going to just discuss them, I'm going to go build them. I'll see you in there. And here we are inside Planet Coaster. We have the 3 plots of land laid out here. I've tried to recreate roughly the size and shape of the Rumba Rapids plots. If I just, that's the... Hello, OBS, that is not where I was going. Here we are. I haven't done a very good job, but I've tried to, like, kind of almost recreate roughly how big this area is. I think my recreation just kind of eat into stealth. It's about there, I think my recreation is. So it's not miles off, but it's close enough. The point is, it's meant to be a guideline of exactly how big I can build. So I'll try and keep all 3 of my ideas within this box. Also, I should mention, these layouts, they're not like built on any sort of rumours or ideas. They're just me building a layout for said coaster in said area. So, without any further ado, let's get into the first one. I'll be going through these from what I think is least likely to most likely out of the 3. And starting off, what could it be? The tension is unbearable, as I cannot find the coaster I'm looking for. There it is. I think it was going to be an RMC hybrid. In fact, I even started building an RMC hybrid before realising, 1, I'm not very good at building them, and 2, honestly, I think this would probably be a little bit more likely. I know, like, RMC 2020, RMC 2022, RMC 2028 is a big running joke, but I don't see an RMC hybrid happening, especially not for this plot of land. What I see to be more likely is a Mack Extreme Spinner, and I'll get into why that is as you watch me build it really quickly in the background. Let's go! So I'll get into this as we look at probably the fastest time-lapse of all time. The main reason I think a Mack Extreme Spinner is likely is, of course, because if you look at the park's most recent project, Hyperia, who made that? Quick quiz, who made that? It's Mack. And this is another Mack coaster. So they clearly have, even though Hyperia had a few problems when it first opened, they clearly have a good enough relation with Mack after, you know, after Hyperia has been such a I can't speak. After Hyperia has been such a big success for the park, it seems, I'm sure the relationship between Thorpe Park and Mack Rise is very good at the moment. And as such, I could see them going for, like, this, what I would call is probably a more thrilling model than, what's it? I forgot what Hyperia is. A Hypercoaster, it's in the name. I can see them going for what I would consider to be a bit more of a thrilling model. And I think it'd be a really, like, interesting fit. I mean, the park obviously does not have a spinning coaster, so it instantly feels like that. They do have a launch coaster, but nothing like... They don't have a multi-launch for a start, and also, you know, well, stealth, like, it's on its last legs. I didn't want to say it's a stealth face, but it is on its last legs. So, well, if stealth goes quicker than we thought, this could be a good replacement. Not that it replaces any of the land that stealth used, but who knows? Anyway, if you can tell, I'm straight up waffling right now, and either way, the building's about to end, so let's go to the POV. And here it is, the Mack Extreme Spinner. I will say, the layout might not be the most realistic thing ever, as, believe it or not, that's quite surprising actually, I haven't really used this coaster type at all. Like, I built surprisingly few of these. I got a lovely, thank you Cinematic Camera, I got a lovely shot of that support there. But, like I say, I think in my entire time having this game, I've built maybe 2 or 3 Mack Extreme Spinners, which is very surprising actually, because they're, like, a very good coaster type. But either way, let's head for a POV on this thing to get an idea of what it could be like. Okay, and here we go on the Mack Extreme Spinner. The layout may not be too accurate or realistic. As I keep saying, I'm not very good at these. But, you know, it's just an idea of what could maybe fit in this space. So I'll shut up and let you enjoy it now. Okay, and there it is. That's the Mack Extreme Spinner. Anyway, I'll move quickly on from that to the next coaster type that I think it could be. Moving on! And in the second place, although I will say second and first are very close, I think either one of these two could happen, so I'm just ranking them based on my preference now. So the one I think is equally likely to happen, but I prefer the other one to be honest, is... I still can't find it. Where has it gone? An Intamin Blitz. I hear people like crying out for this one. Everyone seems to want an Intamin Blitz. I personally, I'm not too behind it. Strictly just because of, actually, I'll get into those reasons in the time lapse. I need something to talk about in the time lapse, so I'll get into why I think this one will or will not happen in the time lapse. But moving on, let's build it, and build it we shall. Here we are. So I'll just immediately get into why I do or do not think an Intamin Blitz will happen. Well, I think it has a strong chance, just because of like the sheer like amount of people that want an Intamin Blitz, which, I mean, fair enough. Looking at like what, two Tatis, I forget what the other ones are. That's the only example that comes to mind right now. Looking at two Tatis, yeah, okay, I can get behind why someone would want that. However, well, you'll see later on which coaster I'd rather have. But to be honest, I think one of the main things that's like holding back an Intamin Blitz, specifically one with a swing launch, one without a swing launch, like Velocicoaster, yeah, okay, maybe I can get behind that. But one with a swing launch, I feel like when Stealth goes, I think that will get a switch track. Or at least I think that should get a switch track. Like when the end comes for Stealth, I would love to see like the the hydraulic launch replaced by a swing launch. I think that would be so like, well I wouldn't say it's more interesting than what we currently have, but it's an interesting way to redo it, and I think it would add a bit more substance to that ride because I always knock Stealth for being a bit short. And so I think adding a swing launch and a spike would make it so much longer, so much more interesting. I think it would just make it a more like worthwhile ride. But I'm getting away from things. Like I say, maybe a Blitz without a switch tracks or a swing launch. I think that once again, like Velocicoaster, I think that could maybe fit in this land. However, at that point, I feel like the gimmick of number one. Can you guess what number one is yet? But the gimmick of number one is much more interesting than just having a standard like launch coaster. I don't know. I could be wrong. If I end up being right on what I want to come here, like if my number one pick ends up coming to fruition and ends up being worse than an Intamin Blitz, I'm sorry guys, my bad. I shouldn't have told Thought Park to build that. Anyway, I think the construction's about to end, so let's head over there for a POV. And here it is. Here's the Intamin Blitz. And my word, this one was a bit of a nightmare to build. It took me significantly longer than the spinning coaster for some reason, because I just couldn't figure out the layout. I think the problem is it had too much speed going into the layout. But either way, we're here now. The colour scheme has been selected to... Oh, hello, what was that camera movement? Calm down, cinematic camera, can't be doing all that. But the colour scheme has been chosen to fit in with the jungle area that, of course, Rumba Rapids was previously a part of. And, well, I can think of no better way to take a look at this coaster than to go and hop on for a POV. So let's do that. And here we go. I'll shut up again so you can enjoy this video. I wouldn't say it's the most like realistic or smooth coaster ever, but you know what? I tried. Well, I can't say I tried too hard, but you know, I think given the tiny plot of land I have, I only went over the border like what, twice. It's fun. You know what? I think no better way to get away from this minor disaster, but minor not disaster that was this coaster, than to move on to the third and final one. What do I think will be, or at least what would I most like to see replace Rumba Rapids? I think it is a highly expected coaster. However, it is an unpopular opinion, and I can't just show it by putting down the thing. I have to do this, and then making use of a handy dandy mod I have. It's one of these. I can't see it. Hold, where is it? There it is. Because I think, and what I'd most like to see is a Vekoma tilt coaster. Yeah, that's right. I know, right? Controversial pick. I didn't pick the Intamin Blitz. I would love to see this, and I'll explain why now as I build this coaster. Let's go! And here it is. It's coming together. The Vekoma tilt coaster, the modern Vekoma tilt coaster. It's not the rubbish old one we have in the game. No, we do need the new one in the game actually. Frontier, because obviously you're listening. Frontier has to be listening to this, surely. Frontier, get on that, please. Actually, no, don't. You don't need to now. I have a mod to give me this now. So look what I had to do, Frontier. My point is lost. I need to go back to what I was talking about. Why would I like to see Thorpe Park get a Vekoma tilt coaster over an Intamin Blitz? For the simple reason of they look really fun. That and there's a more boring explanation, but I'll get to that in a minute. They do just look like so much fun. Specifically Siren's Curse, being one of only, I believe it's 2 modern Vekoma tilt coasters at the moment. Siren Curse especially, I haven't really seen much of Circuit Breaker. Oh, it looks like so much fun. I think specifically actually, if I could pick one part of the layout, it'd be that like weird triple down airtime, like sideways banked airtime thing it does. I don't know, but as for the boring explanation of why I think it's most likely, because Universal, which is coming in 2031, they're already getting some kind of like Intamin Blitz. I think it's an Intamin Blitz. They're getting something with a swing launch and a swing track, switch track. They're getting that, is the point. So I think Thorpe Park would want to go for something very different and go for a tilt coaster. Anyway, we've reached the end of this time lapse. And here it is, the third and final idea, the Vekoma tilt coaster. There, oh, great. Thank you, cinematic camera. You know, no, I'm going to do the camera now. Taking us far away from the tilt track. I have completely and utterly copied the colour scheme from Circuit Breaker. I think, actually, Circuit Breaker might be black track and white supports. I don't remember which way around that one is. But I just think it looks really cool. And, I mean, just look at it. I love the way the tilt coaster looks. It does look insane. I do wish we'd get like an actual, like, proper official version of the modern one in the game, because all we've got is like the rubbish old one, and no one wants that. We want this. But yeah, this layout, it's very much so just packed with airtime. At the end, I just sort of started just spamming Heartline rolls towards the end. But yeah, well, for or like the rest of them really, for a layout that's very hastily thrown together, I feel like this kind of captures what I'd want in a Vekoma tilt coaster. So let's waste no more time and get straight into a POV. And here we go, we're up at the top now. As we cruise around, we can look down on our 2 previous creations, the Mac Multi-Launch, Mac Extreme Spinner that is, and the Intamin Blitz there, as we come round to the tilt track. And oh, what a view this would be. Looking at, where would this be? Looking over, I think Stealth would just be to our left. And yeah, what a view this would be. Comes to the end, it tilts down, and you'll never guess what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut up so you can enjoy the layout. And there we go. That's the Vekoma Tilt Coaster, our third and final coaster. So there we go. To give you one last look at the 3 of them. So the one I'd most like to see come to Thorpe Park is the Vekoma Tilt Coaster. closely followed by the Intamin Blitz, and then maybe I have to say, just for the record, I wouldn't be unhappy about any of these. I think all three of these would be great fits for the park. Oh, hello, Surface Move M. Oh, it's gone. Goodbye, Surface Move M. But yeah, I think all three of these would be great fits for the park. Although I think out of all of them, it is a bit of an odd pick. But I would like to see the Vekoma Tilt Coaster, just because they look like so much fun. And yeah, just looking at Siren's Curse in particular. Oh, it just looks like so much fun. I would love to have one of these, or one of these, or one of these. Anyway, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope maybe this has sparked some new ideas of what you think could come to Thorpe Park. You know what? Tell me what could come to Thorpe Park. Leave it in the comments. Do it now. Right now. What do you think will come in the place of Rumba Rapids? You didn't do it, did you? I can't believe this. I'm fuming. Either way, with that aside, goodbye all.